everyone, it's Stephanie here with a video from My Favorite Things. In today's video, we're going to be creating a card with the new June My Favorite Things card kit. This month's card kit is called Make a Wish, and it has everything you could possibly need in it to make a ton of birthday themed cards. So the sky is the limit with any type of cards that you want to create. You're going to get all kinds of inks in this kit, you get pattern paper, you get a stamp set with coordinating dies, and you get a ton of great cardstock colors that all coordinate together. So to start off, I just went ahead and took all the inks out of the packaging. I wasn't sure what colors I wanted to use when I initially started my card design, so I just kind of took all the inks out and had them ready to go in front of me. And I just kind of pulled out the components of the kit that I wanted to use in my card design. So the first thing I did is I took a piece of the smooth white cardstock and I cut it down into 4 pieces. This way they're all card sized and I can go ahead and stamp directly on this piece and it's ready to go. And I just tuck the other 3 pieces back into my card kit and they're ready to go when I want to do some additional stamping on those ones. I'm going to be using my mini MISTI tool to do my stamping, and that's because I know that I want to stamp this image a couple of times on top of each other, and the MISTI allows me to do that without having to worry about trying to reline up the stamp because it stays in the exact same position every time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stamp these candles with an ombre pattern. So I'm starting off with the gravel gray ink, and then I'm following that with the cornflower ink, which is kind of like a darker bluer color. And then I'm following that up with the blue raspberry ink. And this gives me a nice blend from the gray at the bottom to the darker blue and then the lightest blue at the very top. So when I add the ink, I started with the darkest color at the bottom and I kind of just added it at the very bottom area. And then with the cornflower, I started in the middle and just kind of went over the bottom area with the gravel gray as well, and then I added the light color. Now you can see here I completely forgot to prep my stamp. I like to rub my clear stamps on the palm of my hand before I stamp with them because I've never used this one before. I forgot to do that, and you can see that the stamping is very splotchy, and like I said, that's just because I hadn't primed it before. But since I am using the MISTI, I can just stamp right over top of that, and you're not even going to be able to tell. It's going to end up stamping it nice and smooth and give me a nice solid image because I've had a chance now to use that stamp. So you can see there I have these awesome little candles, and they have an ombre look to them rather than just a solid color. I have the gray color at the bottom with the darker blue and then the lighter blue. Now to make them even more candle looking, I wanted to make them shiny, so I decided that I wanted to do some embossing on top. And this was the original plan when I used the MISTI because I knew I wanted to re-stamp the candles directly over the colored ones with Versamark ink. And what this is going to allow me to do is put some clear embossing powder directly over these candles, and I'm going to be able to clear emboss it so that when I have it completely heat embossed, all of these candle images are going to be shiny and kind of raised off of the surface. So you can see the embossing powder sitting on top there, and I took it off camera to heat it, and now you can see I have these great shiny candles, and all of that ink color that I've done the stamping with is trapped underneath of that embossing. So I just love the look of having that shine to the candles rather than having them completely matte. Now to do my flames on the candles, I decided to use a little piece of silver glitter cardstock. I just grabbed it from my stash, and I'm using the coordinating dies to cut out the candles. And the great thing about this die, as you can see, is that you can run it through one time, and this one big die cuts out all 5 candles at the same time. So you don't have to sit and continuously cut the candles out. So I love this feature with this die. And then with the flames as well, I just ran it through my machine one time with the die and the glitter paper, and I was able to cut out all 5 flames for all of the candles all together. So it's definitely a time saver because you can do all of the die cutting at once. So now that I have all the candles ready to go, I'm going to do the rest of the card design. I'm keeping it pretty simple. I want the focus to be on the candles. So I took one of the smooth white cardstock pieces from the card kit and I folded it in half and made a top folding 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inch card. And then I added a strip of the light blue polka dot pattern paper to the bottom from the 6x6 paper pad that comes in the kit. I like the light blue because it kind of matches the lightest color at the top of the candles. And then I took a little strip of that same glitter cardstock that I had used for the flames on the candles, and I just ran a strip of that right across the top of the pattern paper piece just to kind of separate it from the white part of the card front. I picked out a sentiment from the stamp set that went well with the card. I liked the "there's no such thing as too many birthday candles." I thought that was a really cute sentiment. And I just put that on an acrylic block and stamped that directly onto the card base with black licorice dye ink. And now what I'm going to do is, when I originally cut those candles out, I had specifically kind of placed them in the middle area of this cardstock panel where I wanted, kind of where I wanted them to be on the card base. And I'm going to use this as a template so that I can position the candles back onto the card front and keep them completely straight and completely spaced properly and not have to try and eyeball it or measure with a ruler. So this is just a really great way to re-adhere those candles all together so that they look exactly like they did when we've originally stamped and die cut them, but not have to do a lot of guesswork because we're just going to fit them right back into those openings and they're going to adhere directly onto the card. So I added adhesive to all of the candle pieces there, and now I'm just kind of figuring out which ones I want to put into which area, and I'm just kind of sliding them right back into those openings, and you can see they fit perfectly. It's just like a puzzle, and there's no guesswork at all. These are all going to be perfectly straight and perfectly lined up when I'm finished, because now that they're all adhered, I can just lift this outside piece up, and it's going to come right away from the card, but leave all the candles intact on the card front. So it's just a really great way to kind of use that negative space to use as a template to make sure you have everything lined up exactly how you want it. Now for the flames, I could have put that die cut negative space back on as well to kind of make sure they were positioned, but I didn't worry too much about those. They were pretty easy to put on, and if they're kind of not perfectly straight, that's okay since they are candle flames, so they're probably not perfectly straight anyway. So I just went ahead and used my tape runner there the same as I did with the candles and added adhesive to the back of each of these flames, and then I just kind of eyeballed where they would go and put those back onto the tops of the candles. Now to kick these up a notch, even though they're already pretty sparkly and they look, you know, pretty fun already with the sparkle, I decided to go one step further and add even more shine and sparkle to these flames. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some clear sequins and I'm going to take the 6mm size and I'm going to add a sequin to the bottom area of each of the flames. So to adhere them on, glitter paper can be a little tricky with adhesive, so I prefer to use a liquid adhesive, especially with sequins because they are small. So I'm using matte multi-medium. This is a great adhesive for sequins, especially because it dries matte. So even if some of that glue kind of goes out the outside of the area of the sequin and you can kind of see it, when it dries, you're not even going to notice that at all. So it's just a really good adhesive and it holds really well. Once those sequins are dry on there, they're not going to come off. So it's a great adhesive to add any sequins to your projects. So I just put a little tiny dab of the matte multi-medium on each of the bottom of the flames, and I'm just using tweezers here to position the sequins into the bottom area on top of that glue. And then I added a little bit of silver stickles to the center area of each of those sequins, and that's going to finish the card for today. And that also brings us to this week's giveaway. So for your chance to win the Make-A-Wish card kit, please leave a comment under this video by June 23rd at 10 p.m. Eastern, and we will announce the winner in next week's MFTv video. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.